come up now and introduce wonderful Lisa and Sara. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This is so exciting to have you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Sara, you're muted, my dear. That happens a lot in these.
Yeah.
Here I am. Hello, and thank you for having me. This is going to be a really great conversation. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, it sure is, especially during this time of year. And we were talking about this backstage before we started about how women especially tend to, give so much of themselves and tend to forget to give back to them. Gift, right? Give back to themselves so that way they can have that vitality, especially through the holidays. Yeah. So before we dive into this stimulating conversation, Lisa, would you mind just introducing yourself and how you support women? I know I gave a little bit about that, but if you could just share a little bit more about that, Lisa.
Sure. So I'm a dietitian, an educator, and a transformation coach. I focus on women's health issues, but I really focus on that menopausal journey. So taking women from perimenopause to postmenopause, because I don't think women get a lot of support in that area. I also support men going through andropause, which is male menopause. Not every man will go through andropause, but there are some cases of it, and they need that support too. So anything related to that menopausal journey, that's how I support.
That's perfect. Perfect. And we have Crystal shining in here saying hello to us. Thank you for being here, Crystal. Yeah. And Sara, please introduce you and what you do and how you can support women.
Yeah, thank you again for having me here. I am Illuminated Joy, my business name. I'm the founder of Illuminated Joy, and I mentor high achieving women to move through those difficult and challenging times that we all come up against when we have given and not gotten anything in return, and not looked after ourselves to the best of our ability because we are in people pleasing and overgiving and overextending. And so my approach to supporting high achieving women is through spiritual practices, nervous system regulation, understanding the chakra system. So combining the Eastern philosophies, practices, and principles with the very real nervous system regulation techniques that become important to creating that grounded and balanced mind, body, and soul harmony that we so desire today. And so I work with women through one-to-one mentorship programs and guide them through really that self-discovery of being able to put themselves first. So shifting the paradigm of, giving to everybody else and putting yourself last on the list, to putting yourself first and prioritizing your health and well-being so that you can give from overflow rather than depletion. And that's why I'm so excited about today's topic, because this season in particular, we really end up feeling how much we are not looking after ourselves, how much we do put ourselves last. And so any chance I get to share and talk about other ways, give from overflow, other ways of maybe considering prioritizing ourselves first, I jump at the chance. So I'm really looking forward to diving into today's conversation.
Oh, and you just made such a great point there is, to give from that overflow. Because when we don't fill our cups first, and we hear that a lot, but when are we doing that? When are we actually giving ourselves that time and space to reset, to fill our cups? It's so challenging, isn't it, Lisa? What do you find is challenging for your clients? What are their main complaints that they have that they're not giving from that overflow?
Yeah. So most of my clients would be in midlife because that's usually when menopause takes place. So that anywhere from 40s to 60s. So they're mostly in middle management. They kind of know where they are in life, what they want to achieve, but they also have either taking care of children or maybe that emptiness syndrome. Also, they're taking care of aging parents and then having to do take care of the husband, take care of the home, they're going to work. So they have a lot of plates spinning. But one of those plates are never to take care of themselves because they're taking care of everyone else. And that's usually a woman's nature, I've found, to take care of everyone else, support everyone else, and to put themselves last. So especially when they're starting to go through menopause and now they're dealing with, and there are over 100 symptoms that you could deal with on that menopausal journey. So it doesn't just have to be hot flashes or night sweats. There are a lot of emotional and mental symptoms that go along with, anxiety, that depression, sometimes even suicidal thoughts. So you're trying to take care of everyone else, but menopause has you at a sort of disadvantage because hormonally speaking, and it's nothing that is wrong with you, but you're dealing with that and then still trying to support everyone. So even putting yourself last even more, right? So it's just to get patients to recognize, okay, well, one, give yourself some grace. It's okay. It's okay to take care of yourself. That saying of if the oxygen mask comes down, you put it on yourself first before you take care of everyone else. So it's okay to take care of yourself. Yes, you have all these people depending on you, but if you weren't here the next day, what would happen? Would someone step in? Would they take care of themselves? So I try to take it from that mindset. Okay, so if you weren't here for a day, what would happen? Would the world fall apart? No, most likely not. So then it's okay to give yourself an hour. Maybe you don't want to take the whole day, but maybe give yourself an hour where you do something that replenishes that feeling, refills that cup. Whatever words you want to use that resonates with you, an hour, 15 minutes a day, whatever it is that you can do that's easy, that can fit into that busy schedule, just to give yourself that grace and give yourself that replenishment that you need.
Mm. Yeah, it's so needed. And I really love how you do bring up the raw and realness of the
Yeah.
mental health that is, um, we don't even understand, right, how coupled it is with menopause
Yeah.
and those suicidal thoughts
Hmm.
um, it- that just kind of creep in, don't they? And
Yeah.
just
Especially
really,
around this time, especially around the holidays.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and do you think that is tied to lack of worth, or it's the change, or not knowing, kind of like that uncertainty that they have about themselves and their bodies? Where do you
Yeah.
think that stems from,
It's
Lisa?
it's everything. It's everything. So it's not just one thing. Women in menopause sort of they tend to put everything in the same basket. So it's okay, I'm going to retire just now. What am I going to do after I retire? Do I have the financial expertise to move forward? Do I have those funds to take care of my aging parents if I lose my job? And then you have, okay, my children, are they here or they have they gone to college? So they're worrying about kids at college. Maybe they have a little one at home that they still have to get off. So it's everything combined. And then you have those hormonal fluctuations playing on your mind, where when they drop, then those does that anxiety and depression sets in. So now you have to layer that on top of your reality. And if you're not aware that, okay, this is menopause doing this, so many women don't realize it's the menopause doing that. And they think, okay, no, something is wrong with me. I'm not fulfilling my duties. I'm not good enough. I'm not being a good caretaker, a good partner, a good mother. So all of those thoughts start to set in. And then now you have the holidays. Maybe they've lost someone. Maybe they don't have enough funds to give their children the Christmas that they want to give them. So it's everything
Yeah.
usually piled into one basket. and they sort of feel like they're drowning in everything then.
Mm, yes. And, I've experienced some of those lulls as well, being in my age. And it's exactly what you had said, Lisa, is I just reminded myself my body is shifting, it's changing. What can I do right now? What
Yes.
what feels good right now?
Mhm.
Even if it is to just drop everything that I'm doing and go take a nap or take a
Yeah.
shower or go for a walk, something like that, to where we literally shift the script, because also those thoughts are tied to emotions, which evoke the chemicals, right? How our brain is relating to what's happening. So I want to ask Sarah, how do
Mm.
you see your skill sets, your talents in supporting women when they are in these uncertain times, and knowing that, there are other ways, other avenues uh,
Mm.
to go through for their health and vitality?
Yeah, yeah, it is such a critical time in life. That perimenopause journey and menopause, postmenopause journey is really, I'm just so grateful that there's so much more information and people like Lisa sharing wisdom and insights and knowledge and ways to move through that experience more than there ever has been before. I am in the perimenopause journey myself. Many of my clients, I run the spectrum. My clients range in age from their late 20s to 65. And so when I am in mentorship with a client, we cover a lot of those aspects of life and really having a deeper understanding of what is happening with you physiologically and how that is informing what's happening to you emotionally as well. And using strategies to be able to mitigate some of those highs and the lows that you're experiencing, in addition to working with somebody like Lisa or another practitioner that will support the menopause journey, but starting to understand the emotions around that heightened emotional experience and knowing that, as you were saying, April, thoughts do become things. It is important to start examining our thoughts. And the other thing that I find is happening with my clients is that there is a need to begin to move into that observer mode and understand that those things, those coping mechanisms that worked for you before, the things that help you exceed and achieve and get to where you are up to a certain point in your life, which is usually mid 40s or 50s, sometimes 60s, are no longer working for you anymore. And that's why everything seems like it's going against you, like the whole world is against you. As Lisa was saying, it feels like it's everything all in one basket for women when they start to begin to experience the anxiety, the depression, and the suicidal thoughts from the perimenopausal and menopausal journey. And really starting to parse that out and acknowledging that those coping mechanisms, those habits, those ways of being were serving you up until a certain point, but now they've actually become detrimental and they're no longer working for you anymore. And so what I share with my clients is that this is really a journey into a new way of being, a new way of thinking, and a new way of living. And that requires an extreme level of awareness, starting to explore alternative practices, starting to explore mindfulness, starting to explore slow movements, starting to explore ways that nourish your soul. So I also talk about putting your oxygen mask on first. It's a critical awareness to step into when you're beginning to prioritize your wellness. And it quite often happens that your wellness journey, mental and emotional wellness journey, does coincide with the perimenopausal journey. That's, not a coincidence. But starting to deepen your self-care practice. And I've started using the terminology soul care to describe the way in which we must learn to look after ourselves. Self-care is, for me, very surface. It has I used to work in corporate for 20 years prior to founding my business. And so self-care has the idea of looking after the physical body. So doing your hairs, doing your nails, maybe having a nice massage or a spa day or a pamper day. But when we get to this point in our journey, emotionally and mentally, what becomes imperative is to look after your soul needs. And that starts by asking a different question, starting to recognize that there's more going on here than what meets the eye. And that also ties into those habits and behaviors that were helping you exceed and achieve, but are no longer serving you. And so it's really the deeper question of what do I need in this now moment? And then starting to answer that for yourself. And that absolutely means you have to prioritize yourself first to be able to answer that and to be able to dig into what it is that your soul needs, because this is where the transformation is taking place. It's taking place in the mind, the body, and at the soul level.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I believe that the three of us are right there, asking those questions and wanting to find ways to support others, as we've all been there, right? The three of us have been there. We've had those experiences. Lisa, can you share a little bit about how you muddled through? I'm sure it wasn't, a graceful dance through your menopausal journey, because I think believing, for purposeful women, driven women who they want more for themselves and others, and they want to support others, although we need to really give back to ourselves, as Sarah so perfectly said, the soul care. What was it that you experienced, and how did you create that shift with those thoughts for yourself, Lisa?
Yeah. So for my menopausal journey, I started in my 30s. And at that time, the research was still saying, well, menopause is around your 50s. So when I didn't present with the normal hot flashes and the night sweats, and I had strange symptoms like tooth pain and joint pain, they didn't link it to menopause. So it took me quite a while and I had to do my own research to find out that it was indeed menopause. Because every time I presented with a new symptom and they didn't link it to menopause because of my age and because it wasn't a common symptom, I just got another prescription and said, well, come back in 3 months and when you need another refill. And it's when I got to like the 10th prescription, I was like, okay, this is crazy. I know it's something deeper than what they're saying. I know I'm not crazy as well, because a lot of it was around the time my father passed from cancer, and they're saying, okay, well, the depression is probably linked to that. But I knew myself enough to know, okay, yes, those things may be have a factor, but something else is going on. And I had to, being a dietitian, go back into the research, and that's how I pieced things together. And then in talking to other women, I realized, okay, they're having the same experience. If they're not starting in their late 40s, early 50s, and if they're not starting with common symptoms, then we're getting the same story. Okay, it can't be that, or it's in your mind, or maybe it's just stress. The stress is causing everything else. And yes, stress may be causing these things or amplifying it, but it wasn't the root cause. And I think that's the important thing. Finding the root cause, giving a name to something when you know you're not going crazy is so important for so many women. And that's what drives me to do what I do every day. I was telling April and Sarah backstage, I've had a migraine since Thursday. I haven't been well. And I have a list of to-do things, that's piling up. But I had to, what if I said to myself, if a client came to me and said the same thing, what would I say? I would say, okay, you have things to do today. So yesterday, take the day, give yourself that self-care. What do you need to do to function today? And I
Mm.
realized, okay, I needed to take the day off yesterday and just sort of shut down everything.
Yeah.
Come off of the computer, come off of the social media, and take care of me because I needed to be here today.
Yeah.
So and give myself that grace and forgiveness to be like, that's okay. I don't have to be there every day to support everyone. I can take a day for myself and still be functional and still support the people I need to support. So I think if people leave with anything out of our conversation, is just to give yourself that grace and that forgiveness that it's really okay to take care of yourself, because the better you feel, the better the people around you start feeling, and you are able to support whoever you need to support in the right way.
Oh, exactly, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, we all have been there um, in those moments, and our bodies are going to shut down. It's going to happen because we're not listening. We're not tuning in and listening to those undertones, to being aware of when we're feeling heightened or just on that hamster wheel, or even, that's the hyper, right? And then the hypo is, you're on the couch, you can't move, all of that. And so it's really important to acknowledging, as Sarah, put in, that we need a me day. So yeah, Sarah, if you could just illuminate that a little bit more, I think, it's a good
Yeah.
point.
What I have found and learned the hard way as a business owner, a solopreneur, acknowledging when I need a me day sooner rather than many days later allows for me to have a me day, one me day versus 5, because I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And so just having that acknowledgement with yourself that it's just a day and it's a me day. And what will actually happen is you'll bounce back so much more quickly and easily when you take that day, rather than trying to muster yourself through and push yourself through consecutive days of unwellness and low productivity. So taking the full day early and being able to bounce back from it is really, it's a game changer when you can start to accept that and actually action it. We're so conditioned to believe that we have to continue on. The show must go on. And what ends up happening is we do more harm than good. Firstly, to ourselves, but secondly, to anything else we're trying to do. When we're not at full capacity, we're really not ending up doing a great job at it. And quite often we have to end up going back and redoing the work that we did when we were doing it in that unwell state, whether that's emotional or mental or physical or all the above. So yeah, give yourself permission and acknowledging your me day sooner rather than later will allow you to have a much more quicker recovery time and being more productive more easily and quickly after that.
Mm. Yeah, we have. Thank you so much, Sarah. And we have Marlene here, and she is also into breath work, which I'm very excited about to hear that, Marlene, because I am also a breath work practitioner. And she says, I do breath work to reset myself. It activates the vagus nerve and stimulates endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine. What do you do to alleviate stress best? She asks us. Great question, Marlene. I so appreciate you being here. So Sarah, if you could share what you do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't address you, and then I'll ask Lisa.
So for me, what has become important is a daily practice. The effects are accumulative, and I find that when I'm doing it daily, and for me, that looks like some breath work, but more the vagus nerve reset. There's a little technique that I use, some thymus tapping, which is like EFT tapping, a little bit of meditation, and of course, movement, outside movement. It doesn't have to be a vigorous physical, but getting outside, whether it's for a stroll or a walk, whether it's for 5 minutes or 35 minutes, those have become key elements for me to alleviate stress regularly. Being in the perimenopausal phase of life, that anxiety really ratcheted up. And so I had to dig in deeper. I had to really fine tune my tools and also start to be more conscientious about using them daily. So before it would be like a couple of times a week or maybe a weekly thing. And it got to the point where my body was not responding to a day of rest the way that it would have before, because things had gone too far for too long. So it became imperative that I practice alleviating stress daily. And so, and those are the ways that I do that. The meditation, the movement outside, and then the vagus nerve reset and some tapping exercises that I do. Yeah, those are all super, super important to my world now.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have to put our oxygen mask on first, and don't wait until we're down on the couch or, can't move after the holidays. It's now. It's what are we doing now? So, Lisa, what contributions do you have to share with listeners about how you tune in and reset and restore your mind and body?
Yeah. So what I tell clients, so people who tune into the audio room, and my audio room is this evening, so I hope people can join in, because we're talking about coping.
When and where is your audio room?
It's on LinkedIn, 5 p.m. Eastern, and we're talking about coping through the holidays while we're going through our menopausal journey.
Oh, that's perfect. Is
So
that every
it's going to
Tuesday?
follow this conversation.
Yeah, is that every Tuesday you have that
Every
room?
other Tuesday.
Every other
This is
Tuesday.
the last one for the year.
Okay.
Yeah. So today is going to be a really great an interesting conversation. But what I tell people is start with what you enjoy. Sarah mentioned the anxiety. So a lot of times women are literally afraid to leave their homes, afraid to drive to work or go drive routes that they're really accustomed driving. They don't want to leave their homes. So it's like, okay, what do you enjoy?
Mm-hmm.
I like listening to music. No problem. Can you listen to 3 songs back to back, your 3 favorite songs, and dance? As simple as that.
Yes, dance is amazing.
So music resonates with me, so that's what works for me. A simple thing as when I wake up in the morning, I open the curtains and let the sunlight in. I live in the hills, so I have a favorite tree that I look at. And I sip my coffee and I look at that tree, and I'm just thankful that I don't live in a place where when I look outside, I'm seeing buildings. I get to see nature. That right there just calms me down and puts me in a space where I'm able to function with a positive mindset for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just opening the curtains, looking outside and sipping my coffee. It's not expensive. It's not too difficult for people to do. And that's where I take clients. What is the simplest thing that you can do? What's your favorite thing to do? Do you like to read? Okay. Can you read 5 pages before you go to work? Can you read your favorite poem before you go to work? Just carve out 5 minutes just for you for something that you enjoy. And then
Mm.
we build from there. So we start very simply and then we build on those things. Because I think if we start in a place where it's very comfortable for you and it's something you can stick to, because consistency is the name of the game, right? Consistency is key. If I can do that 5 minutes every day and work that into my schedule and then build on it, I think that's where we need to start.
Oh, most definitely. I can't agree with you more. Because nature, as you said, you open the curtains, right? How symbolic is that,
Yeah,
right? Let the light in and look at the tree. That is who we are. We forget that
yeah.
we're animals, that we are of nature, that
Hmm.
we are God, universe, whomever you believe your higher
Yeah,
power
yeah.
to be, we are connected with that source. And by being in that space, like I was in Bali, it was all over the place. I mean, they're very present. They're very about the beauty and being with nature, that it was simply stunning. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up and sharing what also, it sounds like that kind of, and this is a pun, illuminates your joy, right? As that's what Sarah is all about, is illuminating joy. And also, you're the nature. Yeah. So Sarah, before we go, can you share just one takeaway for women who are feeling those ebbs and flows? I'm just going to say ebbs and flows in life, and maybe a quick tip for them, and then how to reach you.
Yeah. As I was listening to Lisa speak, I was reminded of how critical a role nature, Mother Nature, has played in my emotional recovery journey, and the connection I have to Mother Earth now because of it. And that really was the game changer for me. Now, mind you, I did spend, in those 20 years that I was in corporate, I was living in a major city. And so there wasn't a lot of nature to be had. But after I left the city and moved to a place that has a trail and a forest, and I'm more in a suburban center now with lots of trees, and how critical connecting into nature became for my healing. And still to this day, it's what restores me. It is absolutely the thing that creates that sense of peace and harmony within me. And it also is what lights me up or illuminates my joy, is being able to be connected to nature. So thank you for bringing that into the conversation, Lisa, because it really is that foundational and that important to have some sort of connection to nature in your life, particularly during the ebbs and flows and when you're in times of emotional distress or stressful times. So that's my biggest takeaway, my tip, my trick, and my advice that I will always share. And you can join me in conversation to continue this conversation here on LinkedIn at Sara McCready, or you can pop into my website, illuminatedjoy.com. And I believe that there was some access to links in the show description for today's shows that April had put there. So I'm on all the platforms, Illuminated Joy. So come and find me and let's continue the conversation.
Oh, that's great. Yes. And it's so important, isn't it, to just remember that we are connected to something more than ourselves. And when we can be in that space, then that's when we feel a little bit more ease, right? The pressure is relieved. We feel more of a connection. And so I just want to bring Lisa back, and Lisa, share your tip for viewers and listeners, and also how to connect with you.
Yeah, so I would say give yourself that grace and start wherever you can, and don't compare yourself to other people. Okay, I may live in a place where I don't see nature outside my window. Is there a park nearby? Can I buy a flowering plant and put in my windowsill? Even if it's a plastic plant, get a really nice one, put in your windowsill, and create a space that's just for you to bring you that joy. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be something that will cause you anxiety, or okay, I can't manage this, or I can't do this. We get to do things. Once you're on this side of the grass and you're alive, we get to do things. So find something that you get to do that will bring you that joy. Start with what your favorite things are, or maybe make this month a month of curiosity. I know we were talking about that earlier. Maybe you don't know what you enjoy, or maybe the things you enjoyed in your 20s you don't really enjoy anymore. So make this a month of curiosity, and experiment and try different things. Maybe it's a cooking class, maybe it's a sip and paint class, maybe it's a swimming class. You don't know how to swim and you want to try. Use this month to try different things and find what works for you, and then you just build on it. Don't make it stressful. It's just, we're just going to find what works for us and build on it. Oh, and how they how they can reach me. So I kind of live on LinkedIn, so I'm here all the time, so you can always send me a DM. I do have a book. If you're struggling with menopause, I wrote a book with 21 other authors where we give our personal stories, but we also give lots of tips on everything covering menopause, whether it's nutrition and diet, mindfulness, self-care, or soul care. Each person is a coach in their respective fields, and they have their own things that they tried and worked for them. So I just think it was a beautiful book that came out. We didn't really plan for different coaches to be in it, but it just worked out that every single facet that affects menopause, it's in that book. So I will put the link, and it's only $1.99 US, which is, I don't know how the publishers are managing that, but I'm just going to take advantage of it, right? So I will put the link in the comment section. So if anyone is really struggling with menopause and wants a place to start, or if men want to understand more about what their partner is going through, this is a great starting point.
Oh, that's such a good point too, because yes, my husband was very perplexed and couldn't understand what was happening, and how I could be so one way one day, the moments later another way. And so he did do research, and he found some information. So I love that you are offering this book. And for the listeners, because we have viewers right now, but this will go on audio for my podcast streaming, what is the title of the book, and where can they find it?
It's Redefining Menopause.
Amazon, or?
Sorry, on Amazon, yes. So there's another book called Redefining Menopause, but it's the latest one. And it was an international bestseller on multiple categories, multiple countries. We were just so shocked that people really resonated with the information. So I can call myself a 3-time international best-selling co-author now, which I'm so proud of.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah, but it's called Redefining Menopause. Finding strength, balance, and joy in your next chapter. And it's a beautiful cover. One of the authors donated her cover to it. So it's three. It's just you'll know it when you see it. It's
Okay.
three that dancing woman on the thing, was very abstract but incredibly beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you both. Thank you, Sara, and thank you, Lisa, for your time, your energy, and your support for women of all ages, really. We really need to give back to ourselves and fill our cups. So that way we can have more vitality and better wellness in our lives. As we mentioned, right? Give from the overflow. You know, we gotta put our oxygen mask on first before anything starts to happen. And that's what Sara talked about with the beautiful soul care. And I hope that people reach out to you, Lisa, for more guidance, not just with menopause, but with holistic health practices. And also you, Sara, for more purposeful driven women and business minded, looking for a holistic wellness coach or mentor, as you say, to guide them on their journey. And the next chapter is, Lisa said, in their lives. So those of you who are curious about what's coming up for me, I have that Purposeful Driven Women retreat in Southern California. And I will put also that link in the description. Actually, it's already in the description. So if you're curious to really get into more of a self-discovery, to learn to lean in and listen to your intuition and receive guidance on personal and professional levels, please reach out. Let me know if you're interested or have any questions. You don't have to attend the retreat. It's your attention on your intention, excuse me, of wanting more for yourself. That's what life's all about. So just as beautiful Lisa has done and shown up and shined, and also Sara, I'm just so grateful to have you both here with me today. So thank you for being both of you, and we will see you later. Keep living with intention, my friends.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Be well. And I'm trying to do something else too. Let me see here. I could do my outro. And we're gone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, it should be done, right? Now it says it's still live. See, these are the things that we're
Yeah,
learning.
getting used to. Yes.